Well, major questions for the White House today amid new reports that National Security Advisor Michael Flynn privately discussed U.S. sanctions against Russia with the country's ambassador before President Trump took office. Those revelations, reported by the Washington Post, directly contradict public statements that were made by Trump officials and administration officials, including Vice President Mike Pence. Adam Entous covers national security issues for the Washington Post. He broke this story, and he joins me now. Adam, I want to give some context on this. How has the Trump administration's description of these conversations changed over the past couple of months?
Yeah, well, initially, when it came out that these conversations even took place, Sean Spicer, the spokesperson, described them as being completely unrelated to the sanctions. And then Vice President to-be Pence appeared on CBS, and he point blank categorically denied that anything related to the sanctions which the Obama administration was imposing had come up in this conversation.
Adam, you wrote that some U.S. officials have interpreted the communications as a, quote, potentially illegal signal to the Kremlin. I'm curious about the FBI wiretaps. What did you learn from those?
Yeah, so, as I'm sure you know, it's not something that the U.S. government talks about. It's a official secret, but it's well known in diplomatic circles that the FBI has wiretaps on ambassadors and other diplomats, foreign diplomats in Washington and around the United States. And so they're listening to, in this case, the Russian ambassador. But when they listen to the Russian ambassador, they get sometimes U.S. persons, as they're known. In this case, Mike Flynn. It's known as an incidental collection. And also, of course, the NSA is targeting Russian communications. And so when Ambassador Kislyak, after he has a conversation with Mike Flynn, he might send a report to Moscow, reporting on that conversation. And that's another layer that is then potentially intercepted and then becomes part of this intelligence.
And this isn't the first time that there have been serious questions around Michael Flynn's relationship to Russia, right? Do you think he survives this?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I have no idea what the reaction will be. Certainly, Vice President Pence, through some officials, has voiced concern about what happened here, and has tried to underline that when the Vice President on CBS made the statements he made, he did that based on what Flynn had told him.
You mentioned that CBS interview on Face the Nation. I want to play that. That was from last month. Let's listen into what Vice President Mike Pence had to say.
What I can confirm, having spoken to him about it, is that those conversations that happened to occur around the time that the United States took action to expel diplomats had nothing whatsoever to do with those sanctions.
And a third official put it more bluntly, saying that either Flynn had misled Pence or that Pence had misspoken. An administration official stressed that Pence made his comments based on his conversation with Flynn. How do you think this will impact the relationship within the administration?
Yeah, it's really hard to tell. I mean, certainly it's embarrassing for Pence to have said something that may not have been true, and that obviously I think what happened here is people that had access to the transcript of this wiretap were upset to see the mischaracterization of the Flynn's conversation with Kislyak, and that's really at the heart of this. And I think you really need to look to understand the context here. Is when Flynn was speaking to Kislyak, this was shortly after it was revealed that the U.S. intelligence community believed that the Russians had intervened during the 2016 election in order to help Trump win. So there already were these swirling allegations that basically Russia was trying to help Trump. And here you had these mysterious flurry of communications, both phone calls and text messages, that raised eyebrows. And there is a very obscure law called the Logan Act, which explicitly bars U.S. persons, which would include Flynn, from trying to influence another government's policy with the intent of trying to change that if that policy undermines the existing government's policy. And so that's what attracted attention in this case.
Adam, before I let you go, I want to ask you if you've heard anything on the Russian hacking investigation.
That is ongoing. Obviously these types of communications between Flynn and Kislyak, in addition to any other communications that may have taken place before the election during the campaign, are going to be the subject that they're going to be looking at very closely. I know that from talking to people who are involved in the investigation that they're trying to do this as quickly as possible, and I think we don't know to what extent this particular communication between Flynn and Kislyak will be a part of that, and we do not know at this point what kind of conclusive evidence, if any, they might find during that investigation.
Fascinating reporting from you and your colleagues, Adam. I really enjoyed reading this report. Thank you so much for joining us. Adam Entous from The Washington Post.